y'all doing? I mean, I just hope Cintron was alright and stuff.
He's okay.
He's okay. But that's good, you know. But you know, the punches started heating up in that fight. You know, so we started getting in my rhythm. And you know, saying he caught me with a nice shot. You know, saying I bounced right back. You know, saying glancing with a glancing left hand. And then you know, saying he like pulled my head down. And then I tripped over and fell. You know, saying that he went out the ring. You know, and that was the end of it. But you know, the punches and everything, everything started heating up in there. That round was gonna be a lot of action round. You know, so Mr. Peterson told me, you know, saying don't start out like you normally start out, cause you know Ronnie should probably Carson City, you know, saying throw right hands with all the hook or whatever. So our game plan was to be real relaxed this fight. You know, saying sit back and just fill him out, just keep getting in our rhythm. And then when he told me to step it up that round, he like this round, I want you to apply direct pressure on him now. So that's when we started getting into a little missing, but you know the fight ended short. So you know ain't nobody no psychic, so that's the end of it. You know.
Any questions?
Paul, have you ever seen anything like that, even in sparring, where a fighter falls out of the ring?
No, only time I've seen something like that was with Bernard Hopkins, you know, and Robert Allen, you know, but that. But you know that was like the end. But you know that's the way the cookie crumbles. You know I wanted, you know, saying to fight more. I'm pretty sure Cintron wanted to keep fighting. You know, for the fans, because I feel like they didn't get their money's worth. You know, but you know maybe if they want to do it again, you know, saying if Al and Dan and Mr. Peterson say if we go again, you know I'm all in. You know.
There you go. That's a fighter.
That is a fighter. That's what you want to hear.
That's all right.
Well, as I said earlier, Paul's never turned down any challenge.
Were you hurt? Were you hurt, Paul?
Oh no, you know, man, come on, I'm a warrior. You know, so he caught me with a nice little shot, but I kept bouncing back and showed him that, you know, we're gonna be here for the long haul. You know, so I caught him back with a nice little shot, and then I just caught him with like a little grazing left hand. You know, he kind of like spit me with his hand on my head, and I went down. You know, what I'm saying, then he, you know, what I'm saying, went out the ring. You know, we just got tangled up. You know, but that round was gonna be a lot of action round. Even though I know he probably would have landed some shots in there, but I definitely was gonna land some more shots in there too.
You feel like you won that fight legitimate?
Of course I feel like I won the fight, you know what I'm saying? Anytime you get a win, you feel like you win, you know what I'm saying? I feel like I was, you know what I'm saying, he caught me with some little shots in there, but I feel like I was boxing him and stuff.
There's an old rule, you don't argue with a W.
Well,
I don't blame him. You got the W, you got the W.
Lou says it best, you know? But, you know, I mean, I can't say nothing. I can't tell you how the fight would turn out. I know I was going to win the fight because that was my mind frame to go in there to win the fight. But, you know, maybe, you know, something that happened, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know what to say, you know, it was just, I don't even know what to say, man. You know, me, I like to be in a fight like it's a war, you know what I'm saying, all the way through the whole 12, but I can't speak on it, you know. I don't know what to say, you know.
George.
Yeah. I'm used to seeing you throw punches. I mean, with you, it's all about output. Tonight, you seemed a little bit hesitant at first. You were really following up your jab. Was that just part of the game plan, or was it? Yeah,
Mr. Peterson, if you watch it on the HBO fight on HBO, you'll see what his discussion was for me. You know what I'm saying? We're just going to be real relaxed this fight, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody know when I get in there, we go to war. You know what I'm saying? I get hit with shots that I shouldn't be getting hit with. But this fight was, you know what I'm saying, just to fill him out in the box, you know what I'm saying, just stay distance. You know, because he looking to count on the whole time. So, you know what I'm saying, after, you know what I'm saying, the second, third round, I started getting in my rhythm, you know what I'm saying, then I started getting a little closer to him and stuff. But, you know, Mr. Peterson told me, you know, like that, I think going into that, I think it was the third or fourth round, going into that round, he was like, now I want you to apply direct pressure on him now, you know what I'm saying, I want you to let your hands go a little more, you know what I'm saying, get combinations and all that. So I started getting in my rhythm, trying to do that, you know, but the game plan was, you know what I'm saying, to sit back and, you know what I'm saying, relax, you know what I'm saying. So I know I heard the boos and stuff, but everybody normally see me fight. You know, but I had to listen to my man this time, you know what I'm saying, because sometimes I don't listen to him, and I make the fights more harder, but it be action. I love the action, but this time, he like, you know what I'm saying, he going to put the choke on me, you know what I'm saying, and keep me on the choke chain, you know what I'm saying, so I can't, you know what I'm saying, go out there and blaze. This time, I had to follow the game plan, so it most definitely, it was going to heat up later in the later rounds and stuff. He was let me off the chain, but he like, till then, you know what I'm saying, just keep doing what you're doing, you know, I was doing good, so he was like, he was pressing with it, so got to follow the game plan.
George, what do you make of the fight?
Well, it was going to be a good fight for as long as it lasted.
Can you hear it, George?
Yeah. I don't want to go this way.
Go.
It was going to be a good fight for a while. I didn't expect it to go the distance, because I know both men had a lot of power and anybody could get caught, but I know Paul was more qualified to land what punches that was necessary. You see, and I think I heard several times that the fight wasn't as interesting as Paul normally, you normally see Paul fight. But what happens in this situation is, you know, Paul, we had a strategy, and Paul worked it to the T. And that's exactly what we needed, because if you notice Paul's last 1 or 2 fights, he came out blazing. Well, you know, he got a very, very experienced trainer. And I know they had to watch the last 2 fights and concentrate on the last 2 fights. So what we had to do, we had to show a different look. And that's exactly what Paul was. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. And that's exactly what we did.
What went through your mind when you saw Kermit go down?
Well, I was hoping that he was all right and that he was returned back to the ring.
Dan, I've got a question for you. Dan, you've got a special fighter in Paul, but with that, you've had a heck of a time getting people to step in the ring with him. You've got a hard time finding matches at 160. I mean, what's it going to be to try and lure one of the big names at 147? And has either camp, and I mean Mayweather or Pacquiao, shown any real interest in fighting Paul?
No, obviously you weren't here earlier, and I'll just say it in a nutshell. The fight to be made is Mayweather and Pacquiao. But if it's not, just succinctly, I know as a fan, I don't want to see a Pacquiao and Claude or another recycled welterweight again. Now, you know, you got to give Mayweather his props, because he took on, when that fight fell apart with Pacquiao, he took on Mosley, who we all thought was going to be a very challenging fight. So, and that's what I'm saying. Mosley just happened to be standing there, the only legitimate welterweight there. Well, Paul Williams doesn't need to go out there and beg for the fight or taunt anyone. He's the man standing right there if that fight doesn't get made.
Hey, Dan?
Yes,
Dan,
Robert.
Dan, I actually have 2 questions.
Don't make it a tough one, Robert.
First is, do you agree that the commission rules here, the California State Athletic Commission rules, that says only 3 rounds have to be completed? I don't like that either. I think it should be 4, which would have been under the ABC. I know that really wasn't your choice, but what do you think? Should it have been 4 or 3?
You know, quite frankly, Robert, I didn't have any opinion one way or the other. As Lou, I didn't know who was ahead on the scorecards at the time, but I knew what the rules were, and you live by the sword, you die by the sword. You know, I mean, I would have accepted whatever it was.
Lou, and I got here a little late, so I apologize if somebody asked this already. Lou mentioned that he said Paul is a man's man, and I think he'll give Kermit a rematch. Is that going to be something that will be discussed? Well,
you know, again, Paul's never turned down any challenge, and it's, you know, I have 2 comments there. It was a 3.5 round fight, and it was starting to heat up, but it wasn't anything there that anyone would say within that 3.5 rounds to say, hey, let's do that one right back. So we know that Cintron's there. We know that Cintron would like to have another shot. You know what our plans are right now. So like everything else, we want the biggest and best fights out there for Paul Williams. And you know, one of the things that I love about Paul is, you know, I was sitting here and close to 30 years in this business, and I've never heard a fighter say that I heard the boos or anything. And to hear Paul Williams always talk exactly the truth, I mean, it is a real breath of fresh air, and I applaud you for that. But whoever was booing doesn't know Paul Williams, because I know that you would have been heating that ring up as it went on, Paul. Any more questions?
This fight was 12 rounds, but it wasn't a title fight.
Correct.
Is Paul Williams kind of beyond, you know, picking guys out just because they have titles? Or is titles still something that Paul Williams wants?
Well, I'm sure Paul would like titles, and we all like titles, but you know, we wanted to be the 147-pound champion. We never gave it up. Michael Jennings, who was the mandatory, refused to fight Paul. We had more money out there than he ended up receiving when the title was taken away from Paul, and Jennings ended up fighting Cotto. So with our 54-pound title, when we fought Winky Wright, again, that was taken away because we weren't fighting at 54 at the time. So, you know, what's happened with Paul, and he said it best, and George has said it best, is that what he's doing now is very unique. All different divisions, and that really replaces the titles in a lot of aspects. But that doesn't mean that Paul Williams or George Peterson or Al Heyman don't want those titles. I'm going to let Paul answer it on the title part, and George also, please. Paul? Just grab that, the microphone.
Well, with me, it don't matter if it's a title or not. I think every time I get in the ring, it's a title fight with me. You know, but I mean, the guys that got the belts and stuff won't give me a shot, so I just want to get in the ring and fight. You know, that's my main thing. You know, I leave the other stuff up to Mr. Peters and stuff, but if I get a guy with titles and stuff, I love to hang around my belt, around my waist and stuff. It don't make me none.
That's what I love.
Question similar to what Paul said. The Mayweather-Mosey fight, that wasn't for the belt. Mayweather's recognized as the pound-for-pound king. He gets the money he wants. Now, taking that into consideration, it seems that if you're the best fighter in the world, the belt doesn't really mean anything. You just get the best fighters in the world to fight each other. So if you guys, these guys out here who don't want to put the belts on, you got guys out here that don't have belts that people recognize as good fighters. You think those guys will step up?
Well, that's what we've been doing, and they have, as I said before, he may be the most feared, but he's not the most avoided now because we are making fights that are high profile with them. From the Winky Wrights to the Sergio Martinez, the Kelly Pavliks that we had before he fell out twice. Even with Kermit Cintron, let's face it, his only loss is to Margarito, and we all, you know, there's got to be some cloud there, as Cintron has stated before, how legit those losses were. So, you know, as it relates to anyone that has a belt or doesn't have a belt, I don't see any problem making that fight with Paul Williams.
A couple, maybe a few years ago, I think it was, someone asked you if Paul could fight Vernon Forrest, and your reply was something to the effect of, well, they're both managed by Al Heyman, so that might not be a fight. That might not be a fight.
Will you pull that one out from me, because that must have been many years ago.
Yeah, maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. And you made a comment similar to the fact that Vernon Forrest is managed by Al Heyman, or advised by Al Heyman, so that makes it a hard fight to make. Does that make a Mayweather-Williams fight an impossibility?
I don't think any one fight is any more difficult, no matter who the managers are or promoters are. If the public demands it, they can get made. All right. What, George? You want to come up here? Thank you guys very much for coming out, and Paul the Punisher Williams.